Welcome everyone, this is Jeff Rich from the Burning Archive and welcome and Happy New Year for 2025, my first post of the year on the 4th of January. And if you're listening on the podcast, of course, you can read this post at jeffrich.substack.com. The Burning Archive program for 2025, slow reads, world history, deep dives, modernism's greatest year and live calls with Angels of History. Welcome to the new year at the Burning Archive. I hope you have had some days to reflect and some time to read or even to create after your own fashion. Here is what you can expect from me this year. The Burning Archive program for 2025. I spent Boxing Day rearranging my study, and here in the photo below you can see the view from my writing desk onto my garden where the kangaroo paws are reaching for the Australian summer sky. And there's an image in the post. Somehow it expressed how I felt about my 2025 program. I've spent some months reconfiguring what I offer you here into 3 core pillars of content and 3 levels of membership outlined in the post where there's a link in the post. Over the next few weeks, I will be introducing you to the Burning Archive program for 2025 slow reads, world history tours, deep dives, and Angels of History. Slow reads, world history tours, deep dives, modernism's greatest year, and Angels of History. In this post, I am announcing the reading schedule for my new Slow Reads program that starts on 3rd of February, the calendar for my world history tour of 5 major civilization states of the world today, my commemoration of literary modernism's greatest year, 1925, and the program for my Angels of History membership program. And there's a subscribe now button in the post. So why don't you head over to jeffrich.substack.com and subscribe or upgrade your subscription now. Slow Reads program. My new Slow Reads program kicks off on the 3rd of February with Olga Tokarczuk, The Books of Jacob. What is a Slow Reads program? They adapt the model of online book clubs and look at classics read slowly and with some guidance through chat and posts. Program members share their experience of the book. There is no test, there is no deadening literary criticism. It is a way of reading long, rewarding books with the company of appreciative fellow readers. Examples include Simon Hazel, who does War and Peace and Wolf Hall, and Samantha Rose Hill, with whom I read Thomas Mann, The Magic Mountain. My Slow Reads program will be a bit different, reflecting my interests in history, cultural perspectives from around the world, and modern literature. I have chosen 1 contemporary classic, Olga Tokarczuk, The Books of Jacob, and 1 epic from the non-Western canon, the Mahabharata. On the Slow Reads program, we will explore these 2 long books together over 2025 and in the process learn a lot about history, the other Europe, India, and alternative traditions to the Western canon to make sense of this puzzling world. Reading schedule for the Books of Jacob. We will read the 32 chapters of this 1,000-page historical fiction, The Books of Jacob, over 32 weeks. That is about 30 pages per week. We will take it slow and explore the real history of the many characters who appear in the novel, including Jacob Frank. And there's a link to a brief biography of Jacob Frank in the post. I will give you resources and pointers to the historical context so you can appreciate Tagazuk's masterpiece, which deals with historical characters and themes in 17th and 18th century Poland that many in the West are unfamiliar with. I will send you a weekly post on Monday morning that briefly summarises the story of the chapter for the week. Paid subscribers will also receive notes on characters and historical context and an invitation to comment and chat on a key thematic question prompted by the reading. Here is the weekly schedule, and here is a link to the book at Amazon. January, getting ready for the slow read. On the 6th of January, my mini audiobook reading of Walter Benjamin, Concept of History and its surprising link to Jewish mysticism in the books of Jacob. 13th of January, tips on how to do the slow read of the books of Jacob. 20th of January, an overview of the characters of the books of Jacob. 27th of January, historical context of the other Europe in the books of Jacob. February, prologue and book 1, the book of Fog. 3rd of February, books of Jacob prologue. 10th of February, volume 1, book of Fog, chapter 1. 17th February, volume 1, book of Fog, chapter 2. 24th of February, volume 1, book of Fog, chapter 3. In March, we'll cover the book of Fog and the book of Sand. On the 3rd of March, book of Fog, chapter 4. The 10th of March, the book of Sand, chapter 5. 17th of March, book of Sand, chapter 6. 24th of March, book of Sand, chapter 7. 31st of March, book of Sand, chapter 8. In April, we'll continue our look at volume 2, the book of Sand. The 7th of April, book of Sand, chapter 9. 14th of April, book of Sand, chapter 10. 21st of April, book of Sand, chapter 11. 28th of April, book of Sand, chapter 12. In May, we'll look at volume 3, book of the Road. The 5th of May, book of the Road, chapter 13. 12th of May, chapter 14. 19th of May, chapter 15. 26th of May, chapter 16. In June, we continue with the book of the Road and volume 4, book of the Comet. The 2nd of June is Book of the Road, chapter 17. The 9th of June, Book of the Road, chapter 18. On the 16th of June, we start with the Book of the Comet, chapter 19. 23rd of June, chapter 20. And 30th of June, chapter 21. With July continuing that and starting volume 5, Book of Metal and Sulphur. 7th of July, Book of the Comet, chapter 22, 14th of July, chapter 23, 21st of July, volume 5, Book of Metal and Sulphur, chapter 24, 28th of July, chapter 25. August, we enter book 6, a Book of the Distant Country. 4th of August, chapter 26, 11th of August, chapter 27, 18th of August, chapter 28, 25th of August, chapter 29, and then in September we finish off the Book of the Distant Country, look at the final volume, the Book of Names, and some final thoughts. On the 1st of September, it's the last chapter of the Book of the Distant Country, chapter 30. On the 8th of September, the Book of Names, the single chapter, chapter 31, which, including the prologue, makes 32 chapters over 32 weeks. Then on the 15th of September 25, we'll look at Olga Tagazuk's own note on sources included in the novel. What were the actual historical sources she drew the novel from? 22nd of September, we'll look back over the slow read, and the 29th of September we'll have a break before starting our reading schedule for the Mahabharata. The great Indian epic, the Mahabharata, is even longer than the books of Jacob. This great Sanskrit epic poem contains more than 90,000 shlokas or verses and is divided into either 100 or 18 parvas or books. My slow read of the Mahabharata will be a first dive into this great book over 12 weeks from October to December. The full text has been rendered in various translations, prose renditions and abridgments. I will introduce you to the epic poem with the help of the illustrated Mahabharata, a definitive guide to India's greatest epic, and Peter Brook's theatrical adaptation of the Mahabharata via YouTube. The Mahabharata was composed as early as the 9th century before the contemporary era, though scholars debate various dates for its transcription. It is thought to have been composed in the 8th and 9th centuries, composed orally in the 8th and 9th centuries before the contemporary era, hundreds of years before Homer. It likely reached its final vast textual form in the 4th century of the contemporary era, over 1,000 years later. The epic poem is a form of history and narrates the events of the Kurukshetra war that is estimated by historians and archaeologists to have really occurred around 1400 before the contemporary era. This great world-destroying war prompted deep reflections on statecraft, morality, history, and the contrary human impulses for love and war, creation and destruction, duty and freedom. The Bhagavad Gita, one of the essential sacred texts of Hindu thought, is one brief section of the Mahabharata. It is the Bhagavad Gita that the film Oppenheimer cites and misconstrues when one man who made the atomic bomb says, "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds." As we live again in 2025, under the shadow of a great world-destroying war, a slow read introduction to the Mahabharata will help you reflect on many of the themes I will discuss in my World History Deep Dives. World History Deep Dives. Throughout 2025, I will be guiding you on some fantastic journeys through world history to help you gain new perspectives on the major cultures or world powers or civilization states of today's world. Every Saturday, I will be posting a 1,000 to 1,500 word post that offers a fresh perspective on those major cultures reimagined with world history. Each post will give you one specific book or source recommendation so you can explore the themes and issues that interest you most. On the following Wednesday, I will do a deep dive into the issue in a longer 2,000 to 3,000 word post for paid subscribers. I will explore 5 major cultures or great states of the contemporary world through the best histories being written today. I will spend 8 weeks on each power and so take a deep dive into their role in the modern world. The schedule for these deep dives or World History World Tour is USA 25th of January to 19th of March, China 22nd of March to 14th of May, India 17th of May to 9 July, Europe 12th July to 3 September, and Russia 18th of October to 10th of December. This will be a fantastic journey through power, culture, and the reimagination of our pluralistic world. But you may ask, what is happening between the 3rd of September and the 18th of October? commemoration of literary modernism's greatest year, 1925. Some years ago, a British newspaper voted 1925 as literary modernism's greatest year. Among the works published in that year were Franz Kafka, The Trial, Virginia Woolf, Mrs. Dalloway, T.S. Eliot, The Hollow Men, Mikhail Bulgakov, The White Guard, and F. Scott Fitzgerald, The Great Gatsby. Throughout the year, I will be revisiting the landmark creative works of 1920s modernism in celebration of literary modernism's greatest year, 1925. But of course, I will be less Eurocentric than the British literary press. I will pepper my reflections on the five great powers of the world with some of the great works of modernism from these cultures. Between 3rd of September and 18th of October, I will look at great literary modernist texts born in 1925 or close to, from the USA, China, India, Europe and Russia. And of course, I will also cover the 2025 Nobel Prize for Literature, announced in early October. Program for Angels of History members. My final announcement is the schedule of my new program of live calls for my founding members or Angel of History members. I am scheduling 90-minute live call discussions in the last week of the month, commencing in February, with the last call in November. I will send Zoom links to Angels of History in February before the first call. They will be an opportunity for conversation and reflection on the slow reads, the deep dives, our favourite modernist literature or Nobel Prize books, and our shared search for ways to live in tune with a changing world. Given our schedules and time zones, I'd like to hear from you. When is the best day of the week and time to hold these live calls? I can schedule alternating times, and there's an opportunity to comment in the post. I can schedule alternating times to suit different time zones. Let me know your preferences, and in early February I will schedule dates and times for the calls for the year. If you would like to participate in the full Burning Archive program, now is a great time to upgrade your subscription to paid or an Angel of History. Thanks for listening, and I'll be with you again real soon.